I think the government has to also make a statement before us.
Lord,
That look, that progression back to a state has to take place. It can't be a union territory in permanent. As we see, the creation of union territories post-independence, you have on the one hand examples like Chandigarh, which was carved out during the Punjab Reorganization Act and remained a union territory. It is a permanent union territory.
it was a part of state.
It was a part of a state and became a union territory to be the common capital for two sister states. That one. Then you have a progression where certain areas of existing states became union territories in the progression of making them states. That's the Northeast. For instance, you have Mizoram, you have Manipur, you have Tripura. They were part of states. They become union territories, but that's in the process of making them into a stable administration to become states. You can't immediately make them states. Parliament can certainly make that. Today, the situation is not right to make them full-fledged states. Today, we will carve them out, give them the status of a union territory at a future point of time when Parliament feels that, well, they now are sufficiently stable institutionally, we will make them as states, which we did in the Northeast. To put something, perhaps you may look at what we are trying to suggest. Why is it not possible for the union to say that, well, right now, say in a case of a particular state, we have such an extreme situation in terms of national security, in terms of, other...
We want direct control.
That we want for a certain stipulated period that a union territory should be created. But this creation of a union territory is not a feature of permanence. But this shall then again progress back to its position of a state.
Removing the reasons why it was required to be
Should
converted.
the union not have a control for a certain stipulated period to bring stability? Because ultimately, let's face it, whether it's a state, whether it's a union territory, all of us have survived, the nation survives.
Yes.
Right?
Doubtlessly.
If the nation itself doesn't survive, there's no question, there's no relevance of states or union territories. So is it not should we not give that allowance to Parliament to sort of postulate that for a certain period, in the interest of the preservation of the nation itself, in the interest of the preservation of the union itself, we want for a certain stipulated period that this particular state should go into the fold of union territory on the clear understanding that this shall revert to a position of a state over a period of time. You can't lay down that period in a given case. In a given case, it may be 6 months. In a given case, it may be 1 year. But that progression, I think the government has to also make a statement before us.
Lord,
look, that progression back to a state has to take place. It can't be a union territory in permanence.
I'm grateful, my lord. That's exactly the statement made on the floor of the House. I'll read, my lord, their statement, that this is not a permanent feature. After the situation returns to normalcy, we want it to become a state again.